Alright dudes, I'm back in VTOL VR and I'm going to show you how to use the push to talk functions. So to get started, first your push to talk function is on your comms panel, usually on your right side of the console, on your right console. So you have a team and global. If you just want to talk to teammates, you select team. If you want to talk to everybody in multiplayer, select global. Normally the game starts off, I don't know why there's like a slight pause when you flick between the modes. So normally you're on the first option, which is on. That means that everything you do is voice activated. So if you got your kid screaming in the background and everybody else in the game is going to get tortured with that. So what you want to do is go to the new function, which is push to talk. Okay, so now nobody can hear me talking unless I actually press a button to talk. So the way you do this is you have to grab your joystick for the first way this works. Then you press your A button and you'll see the comm button light up. Tower, request taxi.
Copy. Taxi to runway 25.
Okay, so that's how you do that. Now while I don't have the button pressed, of course I can't talk to the tower, right? Or my wingman. Tower, request taxi. Okay, so press the button. Tower, request taxi.
Copy. Taxi to runway 25.
You have to hold the button the whole time you're talking. It's not a toggle. So if you're not pressing the button, nobody's going to hear you. The second way to use push to talk is you grab your throat, either left hand or right hand, it doesn't matter. Grab the trigger, squeeze the trigger. Tower, request taxi.
Copy. Taxi to runway 25.
Or now I'm going to use the left hand. Tower, request taxi.
Copy. Taxi to runway 25.
Okay, so that's how that works. The other thing is I didn't know until a friend showed me, was you can, like right now I have no presets. So I started the game and I created a preset and there you go. I don't have to reconfigure my monitors or my display systems when I start. So when you select the layout that you want and you hold the, you have 4 different storage areas to hold your layout. So I just press the first one, and if you just press and hold your finger over it for several seconds, it will store your layout for you. Most people know that, but what most people don't know is that when you start up, that you can just press the layout and it will automatically restore from your previous game. And then the other thing that most people don't know is that when you have your joystick set up to where when you rotate it, it moves the rudder left and right, as you can see in the display on my HUD. If you have that, that's the default setting. If you have that set up like that, that means that when you grab your throttle and you can move your joystick, your mini joystick or your throttle up and down or left and right, depending on which mode you, which controller you have, you can switch. I can switch between my different displays with my little mini joystick. See? And then I have my up and down does my tilt. Now if you have your rudder set up, you know, with your mini joystick, which you can do in the game settings, then you don't have this functionality. So I tried it and I couldn't get, I thought they would switch to the other joystick, but they don't. And the reason for that is because the other joystick controls your cursor in each of your weapon systems and your displays. So just keep that in mind. So if you're using hardware rudders, like rudder pedals, then you can still do this. It's only when you set the mini joystick on your throttle to the rudder option, then you lose this functionality. Okay? If you don't, and you go back and set your rudder to the default where twisting the joystick moves your rudder, then you have this functionality to where you can move your soy to any screen you want. And that's pretty handy because you don't have to take your hand off the stick. Okay, that's it for that. And I have one more plane. I want to show you something that I found out. Maybe everybody else knows, but I'll go over it anyway. So see you in the next airplane. Alright dudes, I'm back again in VTOL VR, and I want to show you with this airplane. I think it's the F-25 or something like that. They have an option for doing catapult landings that most people haven't probably figured out. So I'm gonna like hook up. So we want to retract the launch bar, and it should automatically engage. Most people know that already.
Bravo 1-1, locked in. Throttle down and run your launch checklist.
Okay, so once he tells me we're ready to go, you can retract the launch bar.
Bravo 1-1, shields up, ready to go.
See, we can retract the launch bar, right? But here's an option right here. It's called Catapult Trim, and if you turn that on, now when you take off, you won't dip and have to pull back on the stick. You just leave. You can actually, I think, leave the stick alone. Let's see. So let's try this out, and I'm using actually let's try 0 flaps this time and see what happens. Yeah, see how the nose stays up?
Landing gear. Landing gear.
So next time you take off, make sure you got your catapult trim on and you have an easy takeoff. It adjusts for your weight. And that's it for a little tidbit on this plane. See you later, and hope you enjoyed it.